Hi, my name is Sheridan Kelly, and this is a deconstruction research in journalism. Should you believe it? This is a project methods application presentation. So let's jump right in. Today I'm going to be doing an article deconstruction on people who regularly smoke cannabis are nearly 3 times more likely to be violent, study finds. This is a Daily Mail online article. It is written by a man named Stephen Adams. Looking into him, he has written other articles before. He has some credibility online. However, I'm not really sure if that pertains to science, exactly what his reportership really, what it holds true to water. So talking about this website article, I had some questions off the bat. There are some grammar errors. The quotation mark and the comma are switched. It should be the comma, then the quotation mark to end. So there are some grammatical problems right off the bat that really made this article stand out to me to further investigate. Reading through it, there are some other subheadings. Different quotations used throughout when you access the website online. There are no actual embedded citations in the article, so I had to do some outside research to actually locate this exact article. I had to find other articles on the web that were exactly the same as this one, but just printed in different formats on different, published in different websites. So I was kind of confused about that a little bit too, but I did eventually find the article. The article is right here. It was accessed through the UIO databases, through the database Psychology Online. It reads, association between the use of cannabis and physical violence in youths, a meta-analytical investigation. So this meta-analysis is not a primary research study, it's a secondary research study, but it still is plausible and a really good viable source for this particular matter. So the objective overall, why it's important, interesting, it studies the extent to which cannabis use among youths is associated with the risk of perpetrating physical violence. Again, so we're talking about physical violence. It's also really interesting too, the public may find it cool because many states right now have recently joined in this flood of legalization of marijuana and passing it on a recreational level. So this is really pertaining to a lot of interest. It is clickbait. So having, Daily Mail is known for clickbait and known for those types of things. So it was really interesting to kind of research this further in a study format. Going over it, that's the goal of the study listed in the objectives, and then progressing through that journal entry, we're talking about how the data are collected. So I was concerned about this because I want to make sure that, we're doing proper collection data. Everything is being properly analyzed. We're using the right parameters. There's a couple figures included, so I want to put the figures up here. And you can see with this figure, the main point is that there are filtration systems. Every step of the way, they're removing duplicates or they are excluding non-meeting criteria pieces. They're taking people that are over the mean age of 30. The study is a mean age under 30 years of age. So, the data were analyzed as well in different ways, and I'll get to that in the next slide here. But yeah, they were collected from searching various databases like PubMed, PsycInfo, Web of Science, Google Scholar. So they use really reliable journal sources to compile this information. This is a meta-analysis. And they used a bunch of studies with roughly 300,000 individuals under the age of 30. They also, with the databases, they did from the inception of each database to July of 2019. So that's important too, so you have a certain time window that is the same for all of them. The parameters for the study were all studies examined for both cannabis use and perpetration of physical violence that excludes other violences, such as verbal violence, it could, mental violence, etc., in a sample of youths and young adults that were under the 30 years old age limit. So the data were analyzed right here is a picture of a forest plot. In addition to this forest plot, they were also pooled. They were pooled in odds ratio, which includes a 95% confidence interval, comparing all the risks of violence for different uses and age groups. The biases were also accounted for using the Eggers test. Biases are really important to account for, especially when you have really similar tests across the board, making sure that they are all true studies and there is no alteration in their results based on, monetary value, getting payment, extra publications, publicity, those types of things that can lead to skewed results. Let's talk about the research. So the research suggests that the risk for violent behavior was higher in persistent heavy users than for past and lifetime users. This is important right here. This does not necessarily put everyone in the same basket. So the article saying, you know, if you do this, you're 3 times more likely. That pertains to a certain population of people. It is under 3% when you look at the specific statistics of the test. So rounding up, those things are a little skewed. I get the idea for the publicity to put it out there, and that's what they want. They want that clickbait. But however, it was higher in users that are very heavy users. And that really should be noted in the website, which it doesn't really clearly annotate that and clearly point out. And they're comparing them to past and lifetime users. And those are kind of the 3 categories we're comparing here with this study. There's also a range of other adverse effects too that can contribute to the causation of this. So it is a risk factor. Cannabis is still a risk factor for the population of users. But the association from the studies, they're also inconsistent, noted in the journal articles. So noting that they are inconsistent, some, for example, have some association, and some show they can guarantee there is an association here, and then others say there's no association whatsoever. So, we are also talking about other things like socioeconomic status needs to be accounted for. Is there violence that runs in the family? What is their childhood like? So there's a lot of different factors that are typically quieter at a younger age. There's a lot of things that can go into this that can also contribute. There's limitations in the study too, so that's kind of important too. They did have some problems. There was no publication bias detected, which is important here, but the level of heterogeneity between studies was rather large. And also, in addition, with the meta-analysis, the data did statistically account for confounding factors, so that was important, but few of them controlled for important factors such as other substance uses like alcohol and stimulant use, so that really could have another impact as well. There are 2 other ones, but all in all, with that section, the findings should be considered with caution. Take these findings into consideration with, what context is it given in here? And that's really important. The article didn't exactly include, so I was kind of disappointed by that. The findings do relate to other studies. The findings, they are consistent with the previous review as well. They do relate to some, but there are vast differences with the 30 studies that were examined. Just given, those are examined 30 studies, or those are not you out in the field actively pursuing a primary research study. So taking that into consideration is also really important with this article, but it is a meta-analysis and it's not just a primary research study. There are suggestions for further research though, which is great. So it suggested it's really crucial to better investigate the effects, especially right now with people consuming more cannabis and people that are on the market, that are in the market for consuming cannabis. So I think that really the main point here, they did find a moderate association between cannabis and the perpetration of physical violence. We're not going to deny that. But the observed relationship, it's unchanged regardless. So that's important too. The confounding factors did not change the outcome necessarily, but they did impact it a little bit. The research is a scholarly journal, and there are 30 examined studies that are also scholarly as well. And then, it's important just to look at the research, making sure that it's reviewed truthfully in a really great manner. There's a lot of sets checkpoints I found written to the journal article, other controls that were used to ensure the information was unbiased. For example, there were, cross references and cross checks between the researchers and those that were supervising them as well, which is really important. And they also used a standardized form to extract the information. So it was very streamlined and very professional. So I could tell that it was a trustworthy and reliable study. Let's see. So the research study is, there really are issues that you should explore more, which is important here. With the news article talking about that really quickly here, to kind of wrap this all up, should we believe it? Should we not? It's a hard question to answer because everything in this article, for the most part, I did go back and find quotations, but I had to really dig for those. So the information that it mentioned, it wasn't that it wasn't factual, it actually did follow it. So yes, we can believe, in short, the website. However, it did a very poor job at this. If I had not read the journals, the non-scholarly article discussed the cited research in a way that was very fluid. I would have liked more citations. I would have liked more proof in the pudding than having to dig myself personally to find that. But I think that the the primary scholarly research, or the secondary scholarly research, pardon me, did a really great job for the most part at delving in each and every part. And I'm kind of skimming over some things here just for the sake of time, but it really did a great job talking about the uses of filters and controls, and giving the why as to why these reasons are great, and the why as to why we want to support this knowledge, why we want to continue to grow and continue to research. It is a new area of research. It's still constantly being debated all the time, and more studies are always happening. So this article will pertain to probably a large portion of the public who is just curious about learning more with new legalizations going on. So yeah. So that was really done well. I think we can believe the website, even though I wanted to not believe it because there is a lot of clickbait on Daily Mail. But for the most part, it is accurate. It could have been done better. There could be more citations. There was some excess information, and there was a lot of ads on the page that really clouded the entirety of the article itself. But yes, we believe the article. Thank you.